So we get underway at Optus Oval. Both teams desperately wanting the 4 premiership points from today's game. Allen beats Primus in the middle. Comes to Bode. Round the corner he goes with Schofield. Out towards the wing. Heavy clash. Play on, says the umpire. Lappin gets the hand pass out. And a chance for Bishop. Heat on early in the game. Backwell, the Queenslander, into the side today. Out it comes through Freeborn. McKay inside the 50. The Blues first into attack. The punch was disciplined from behind. Mead waited and then put on the Shepherd, and the ball cleared out of defence by Francis to midfield. Nelson the punch. Past Freeborn it goes. Trapped in midfield. Stevens the hand pass. It comes out wide from Schofield, and they've lost it. Camporelli, the leading possession winner in the competition, up to half forward. Awkward bounce for Whitnell, but at the back is Brett Ratton. All of a sudden he found himself in the clear, goes for goal with nobody home. Through she goes.
Well, obviously there, a good start there from Carlton. Just getting in, getting onto the packs, and a little bit unusual to see Ratton starting outside the centre square on the half-forward line. And Bradley's now back in the centre with Franchina and Freeborn. So obviously Carlton trying to do something different to start the game, and certainly paid off.
Brett Ratton on screen, not a noted goal kicker, just 62 goals in his career. So that move by David Parkin has worked. Ratton, usually the general, inside that centre square. Allen. High leaper, here's Bradley, his partner in crime, Franchina. Tried to tickle the ball outside the centre square. The Blues force it forward. Hickmont again shares the ball with Bradley. Camporelli. They're going to be the 2 big guns midfield. Allen stands and delivers from outside of 50. Hamill. With Poulton as his opponent. Now he got a bit of a shove. There's no 50-metre penalty. Hamill started in the goal square along with Lance Whitnell, who's been picked up by Darren Mead. So those 2 players have been targeted. Poulton coming into the side. Half a dozen games last year. Number 27 on screen. Bit of a shove. But Hamill from directly in front will shoot from 40 metres. This will be a great start for the Blues. And he's popped it through.
It's another good forward play. They got the ball out of the centre, and Allen, great kicks off a standing start for a big fella. Just as you see here, the play, Camporelli getting involved, and Bradley, the key midfield players. But beautiful left foot kick there from Allen. Just allowed Hamill to lead into the ball, and last week Hamill was a really key player in, I suppose, in Carlton coming back at Essendon in the last quarter. But he has to stand up himself to really take a bit of the pressure off Whitnell.
Unusual to see Franchina in the middle 4 for the Blues, but his task today is to pick up Kingsley and restrict his effect. Blues have opened with 2 goals. Allen faces Primus. Allen knocks it backwards. Past Freeborn it goes. Hickmott the hand pass to Rice. Kicked by Dean Rice. Once again inside the 50. Port haven't been forward yet. Ball comes to the front. Lappin spinning. Whitnell fights hard for the ball.
Drew, just on that centre bounce there, Matthew Allen's jumping earlier than Primus and getting on top, using his lift and his hip on Primus and doing a good job.
Yeah, it's so important that you get the ball out of the centre, and that's just what Carlton are doing. This is 3 centre bounce clearances in a row.
And here we are, 45 metres from goal. Blues back into attack. It's won by Primus, but goes to Hamill. Hamill cornered for a moment, and the short kick, Lyle, and he takes the mark. Barely travelled 10 metres.
From the back pocket, pumps the ball out towards the centre wing. Some pushing and shoving. Treadrow was the target. Here's Rice. Medico's tell us those helmets don't help too much. Freeborn goes to ground. Kingsley just spun out of the pack. Camporelli was the tackler. Franchina will pile on top. Picked him up at the centre bounce. And a ball up on centre wing. The Blues have started well. 2 quick goals. Won the first 2 games of the season, but have really struggled in recent weeks. Haven't really been in the games against Collingwood and Essendon. And Port Power started the season so poorly. Just the 1 win over the Brisbane Lions. And last week, a shock loss to Hawthorn. So Dean Rice, even with the helmet, the blood rule, he's off.
Just out of trouble.
Well, as you said there, it may not stop you getting knocked out, but it's not doing much for the cuts over the eye either.
Well, he took a heavy knock last week hence the helmet. You don't really see Dean Rice in a helmet as Hume comes onto the field. So one tough player leaves and another enters the fray. And we can see here the knee coming through, and he's caught there by Kudafidi's foot, which came through and kicked him in the head.
KB, just a gash over the left eye.
And Kevin, you'd have to say already Carlton are looking a lot more aggressive at the footy, and they're attacking it and they're taking it really to Port.
Well, they've got a great record, Port Adelaide, against the Blues. They've won out 3 out of the 4 games. There's Hume straight away into the action. He was driven to the ground by Primus. Free kick will go to Port Power. Braden Lyle, a ball-winning machine. From half-back to the half-forward line. Treadray, big pack of players. And Kudafidi's playing in front. That'll be a great duel. Kudafidis has been in good form this year. Played such a good final series. His confidence is high. Kicks the ball wide. Houghton. A diving mark in front of Paxman. And he's been a great pickup. From the local league after a short stint with the Pies. Here's Hamill on the lead. He's already kicked a goal. They'll go also to Whitnell and Hamill. They'll be the two-pronged attack. Whitnell just continues to work his way into the game. And again, a ball up some 45 metres out from the Blues goal.
You mentioned there Houghton before. He actually did a pre-season with Melbourne a few years ago. And I thought, you know, it'd be something, a player that we should have picked up at the time. But as it turned out, wasn't quite up to it. Now he's really relishing in his new opportunity.
Whitnell against Mead. Whitnell applying the tackle and the crumbs to Ratton. Now Lappin. Attempted centering kick but didn't really get it out in front of goal. It's cleared out of defence by Francis. Just over half-back. Tapped out by Houghton. Kingsley crunch with Camporelli. Wilson might have taken one high. Play on, says the umpire. Ball, say the crowd. No decision by the umpire, and now he's going to say, give it to me, I'll ball it up.
I think it's a good point that you made before, Jim. Carlton are aggressive, going in very hard. You can see then Camporelli's tackle. They've come off a couple of bad performances, so maybe they've had a bit of a message this week.
Yes, ball knocked out towards the centre square. And that's over the top, and Paxman will take the free kick. Port Adelaide really haven't been over the centre line yet. There they go to half forward, just outside the 50. Only one Port player inside the 50. Is that holding the ball? Play on, says the umpire. They knock it forward. Here comes a power goal. Surely Bode snaps off the left. Got it.
It was a pretty good effort there. They were a little bit fortunate because I think they got a free kick going their way, and the umpire said play on, and the Port Adelaide player was under a fair bit of pressure. But you see the play just coming in here, but it just shows that if you get in front, you can get the free kick. Treadray should have got the free kick, but luckily they had some players there in Bode, and they got it going forward. It was a beautiful kick on the left foot, just to curl in, but you can see there's not very many supporters here for Port Adelaide.
So Port Adelaide hit back. Goal to Bode. He's a lively customer. Matthews. Allen got up high and got the knee in the Primus. Stevens rockets the ball wide. Lyle's been very handy in this first quarter. Again inside 50. Corns was a target. Treadray and Corns wrestle for the ball. Over the top is Silvani. So a ball up. Just 30 metres out from Port's goal. Andrew McKay has the job picking up Bode on the forward line. Corns does the ruck work, thumped on by Silvani. Struggled for touch last week, his first game for the season. Camporelli's been in magnificent form. To Lappin, to Hickmott. Lappin comes away from half-back. He's a classy player. This kick's an absolute shock. He was looking for Whitnell, always plays in front, puts the big frame in front. You'll really find him behind. Bradley looked lively also. The oldest man in the game, a great kick. Finds Allen. From the centre square, goes wide. Hamill, too much carry on the ball. He's got the pace to get away from Paxman. He's on 50, wants support. Houghton hits the ball hard in front of Bishop, can't take control. Quick kick's been smothered off the boot. Coming in hard also was Nelson. Weaving his way out of trouble, crunched into the ground. Port just couldn't quite take it away through Francis. Again, under a lot of pressure, they're going in very tough. Freeborn over the top, clever play, kicked off the ground. Lyle drags Allen down. Again, a loose ball. Hume goes to ground. Desperate play. Crashing in was Derek Murray. Just his second game youngster. Really made his mark in Victoria in the under-18 competition. Backtracks to Kutafutis on centre wing. Pumps the ball back towards centre half forward. Whittle in front. What a grab! Houghton! Great mark. Well, we said before, Jim, he's been a terrific pickup. But a wasted opportunity as Wilson takes it away. That mark deserved a lot better. They open it up wide. Goes wide to Murray, who comes away with a casual bounce and a bit of a juggle.
Just behind the wing, outer side. Kicked by Murray, the wicketkeeper. Up towards 50, and that is a very clever mark pulled in by Burgoyne. And what a player this boy is. He gets around the man on the mark, takes a couple of extra strides, gets close enough and bangs for goal and kick offline.
Well, you'd have to say now that Port are starting to get themselves back in the game. There's still, though, some players that are putting in some half efforts. Like some of them are really on the game and some of them not quite. I saw Francis coming out of defence there, and he's got a lot of pace, but he led, I think it was Nelson, to run him down. It's just not really indicative of, you just need a good even performance from everyone.
Well, the game's been going about 11 minutes, and I reckon it's been on Port's forward line twice, and they've got 1-1 out of it. So for about 9.5 minutes, Carlton have managed only 2 goals out of the play on their forward line.
It's a good point that you made then, Jim. When you win the ball, you should accelerate straight away with the ball. Yeah. Carry the ball. That's what worries the opposition when they see players coming towards them and they're carrying the ball very, very quickly. And then once you do that, you can get yourself balanced and you can assess what you want to do. But if you come away casually, then players can run you down, and all of a sudden you're always hurrying your possession. Hamill finally sees the ball over the line for a toss back in.
Dean Rice is back on. They just bandaged him up over the left eye there, and he's right to go when Darren Hume come off.
Hamill on screen, such an important player. Needs to take that extra big step to help Lance Whitnell across the half-forward line. Took a big step last year. Another one needed. Bishop comes away with pace. Long striding Bishop to the edge of the centre square. Kicks the ball long. Silvani will wrestle from behind. Goes the punch. Koufides got rid of Murray, who dragged him down. It was a great tackle. Nelson shares the ball along with Silvani, so a transfer of play goes very, very wide. And here's Rice back on the ground. You can see the eye bandaged up. Drills the ball to Bradley, who's been magnificent in these early stages, winning a fair amount of the ball. He's inside 50. Always uses the ball well. Went for the tallest player on the ground for the Blues in Allen. Hickmott, some run, so the Blues are keen to generate some run. They've been a bit flat-footed in recent weeks. Allen stands and delivers. Big bomb. Whitnell. Sam is in between Primus, who put his big frame on the line. Here's danger. Lappin needs a kind bounce. Gets it. Whitnell should kick a goal. Blues have got 3 on the board.
Now, as you said, it was a good goal, but Primus is now, I reckon, has got to come up and pick up Allen in the centre, because he's getting too many possessions and he's setting up a lot of their play because he's giving them an out. As you'll see here, the ball comes down long. Primus, because he's not able to be effective there taking the mark, the ball spills and all of a sudden Carlton are in on the play. And again, Whitnell played great last week, took about something like 13 marks, and already now he started off with a goal. So this is a play I think they've got to change.
Ball back in the middle. The Blues have 3. Port 1 goal 1. Allen taking a long run at Primus and wins it. Primus doing the tackling, and he made a fair call there, but the umpire said no, give it to me, I'll ball it up again. Secondary bounce. Great to see Matthew Primus back. Now on the same side of the bounce, comes down to Schofield, who couldn't get boot to ball. Ratton picks out Rice out in open field. Kicked by Rice straight to centre half forward, but Bishop, well, he read it better than Houghton and took the mark. Bishop comes out wide towards the wing. Plenty of room here for Kingsley. Kicked by Kingsley towards half forward. It was beautifully delivered, and the mark taken up there by Harwood, who played a couple of weeks ago and kicked 3 goals when he came in as an emergency. Comes to McKay of the Blues. His hand pass is fantastic to Camporelli. It was going to be a free kick. Advantage now to Carlton. Up towards centre wing, and Houghton this time in front takes the mark. Camporelli kept on going. That's how he's racked up average of 30 possessions a game. Beautiful kick to Hamill, who couldn't quite take the mark. Lappin front and square. It comes to the back. Hacked out of there by Carlton. And back to centre wing. I thought it was a mark to Freeborn, and the umpire paid the mark for the second gun.
So he didn't hold for very long though, Drew.
Freeborn to Bradley, who's just hanging around half back. As the general, the playmaker, sets it up to Rice. Edge of the centre square. Here's Whitnell. He'll always play in front. A loose player is set up. This is too easy for the Blues. And another goal to Ratton. He's got 2.
They've just got to become a lot more accountable now, Port. Just allowing the Carlton players to just get back and run the ball up, and it is a style of play that Carlton like to play. With Bradley dropping back, creating the extra man here in Rice, and getting it down. As you see, Whitman leading to the ball, but then he had Ratton over the top, and this is where Port Adelaide have got to be really careful. They've got to be a lot more accountable, and they can't allow the Carlton players to drop back and then play that zone like that basketball game.
Well, Ratton's back in the centre square now for the Blues, but he's kicked 2 goals in the opening quarter. Terrific start for him. Bursting through onto this is Rice. The cut to the eye doesn't seem to have bothered him, and he takes the free kick. A professional free kick, really, because Port had to stop his momentum. And the Blues have plenty of momentum. 4 straight they are to Port Power, 1-1. Kick by Rice, covers some distance over the head of the players. Well, Hamill kept his footing, his opponent went to ground, and the ball is out of bounds in the forward pocket. And Stevens collides with the fencing there, comes up shaking his head. He's not too happy about it.
So both Hamill and Whitten are really causing a few problems now for Paxman and Mead.
So a chance for the Blues. Boundary throw in some 45 metres out from goal. Here's Freeborn. Had it and lost it, taken away by Lyle. Picking up a lot of possessions in this first quarter. Kicks the ball wide, looking for Carlton. Wants a kind bounce, overruns the ball. Hickmott closes quickly. He'll get support from McKay. He's in trouble, 3 against 1. The Blues went out. They're hunting in numbers. McKay rockets the ball wide to Ratton. He's been a star as well. Goes short and finds Allen. Good play by the Blues. Allen's a very good kick. Is a very good kick. Starting to swing back right on the line. Paxman got his hand to it.
Now, while it was a good kick for goal, if it had made the distance, but if you're not going to quite make the distance, sometimes it's a lot better just to set it up about 10 metres out, because Carlton had a 2-on-1 there.
I think he fancied his chances, Jim. Mead. He's got the job playing on Lance Whitnell. Blues by 18 points. Francis, who was under pressure, does well. A shake of the shoulders. He's always a thumping kick, goes straight down inside 50. Manton got the fist of the ball. Treadray, the rover, around the corner. Can he bend it back? Not enough. Through for a minor score or a free kick. Free kick. So the Blues wasting no time. Goes wide to Rice. From half back to centre wing, Bradley. This time forced onto the ball. Too much carry taken by Kingsley. Also wins a lot of the ball. That used to be the power of Port in midfield, winning a lot of the ball. Franco not playing today. Stuart Dewars coming to the side. Has started on the interchange bench.
But then Martin played a great game last week on Lloyd, I thought.
Manton does the ruck work, does it well. Yeah. Schofield to Kingsley. Again, kicks down to a 1-on-1 contest. There's a great mark taken by Corns.
Well, when Silvani's on your hammer like that and you outmark him, that is a tremendous performance.
Yeah, particularly getting in front and holding the position. But Manton in the ruck shouldn't have hit the ball forward because it was just all Port players there.
And there's a free kick. It'll go to Wilson. So it was quick play by Corns. He saw Wilson come down from half back, created the loose player, and popped it up. And, of course, interfered with. You can't run straight at the player. You've got to have your eyes on the ball. So Wilson, from directly in front, should kick Port's second goal. Hammers it through.
And again, it's a really important goal there for Port because it's just keeping them in tune with the game. 2 goals down still. But just a good play from Corns. Obviously, Savani was getting on top of him, but he just presented well, got under. But as you see here, Campriali just trying to spoil, but getting in there sort of a little bit early, not having his eyes on the ball. But it is a real key goal. It'll just keep them in touch with this game.
Well, certainly the Blues haven't opened up a big space, considering that most of the play's been on their forward line. Allen But it comes down to the middle. Out of there by Burgoyne. And the umpires signal a throw. Umpire Coates. And so it's against Burgoyne. Taken quickly by Fletcher. Here's kick to Whitnell. The punch by Mead. Comes to the front to Schofield. Schofield down the centre corridor. Port need to improve their goal scoring in this first quarter, but there's about 6 minutes left. They've got time to rectify this. They're not all that far behind. It's inside the 50 now. A double tackle, but the ball held in, said umpire Coates.
Should have been a free kick to Corns there. Too high, that tackle.
Their speed's worrying Carlton at the moment, Port Adelaide. Murray's been good with his tackling.
Very good.
A lot of players around this ball up, and the ball is knocked down by Harwood. It comes out wide, and the shot for goal by Francis. Will it make it? Not quite. Wrestle in the goal square and through for a minor score.
I've got to say, actually, Port are actually playing a lot more direct. Normally they sort of chip it around the back line. They're actually going down the middle, and while they're kicking the contest, at least they've decided to take the avenue of the corridor. Particularly in a ground like this, you've got to do that.
Now, Beaumont has just come straight off the interchange bench. That was a good move, Couchy.
A smart play by David Parkin.
Who went off for the Blues? Poor kick.
Favola.
Chipped in as Montgomery. Ex-Bulldog to centre-half forward is Corns. See, that's a good mark.
Sorry, KB, it was Camporelli who's been tagged by Michael Wilson.
And Wilson kicked that last goal, so maybe a bit of a rocket for Wilson coming down and kicking that goal. This is a great grab. Look at Corns.
Goods, doesn't he?
Well, he looks very much like his old man, but he kept his eyes on the ball. That was a very strong mark. It was a brave mark. So Corns directly in front. This will be a confidence booster. And Port Power. Corns, can he bend it back? He's hit the post.
Post.
So a wasted opportunity.
I've got to say, though, at least he's starting to present. He's getting some of the footy. I thought Silvani was worrying him a little bit earlier. He was getting a lot of play out of the back line and setting some play up. But now, at least, he's now making Silvani think about him.
Camporelli back on.
Well, Stephen Silvani might still be a bit short of a gallop, but Corns has clearly outmarked him a couple of times. That's the fullback of the century. Bradley kept on going forward. He was held. So once again, Port have held up a Carlton player who had momentum. It was Rice a while ago, Bradley this time. Bradley's played on over the mark. The ball's got to come back. Just 10 points the advantage to the Blues. Whatever breeze, slightly aiding them, but mostly across the ground from the broadcast side to the far side. Manton in space, coming up from defence. Half back to half forward. Hamill. The punch from behind by Paxman. Underfoot. Hickmott gets clear. Gets a shot for goal. Terrific performance. And it glanced the post. Missed by a centimetre.
Well, you'd have to say that's evening things out, but it was interesting there. Port Adelaide brought all their players back except for Corns. Every one of them was in the defensive half of the ground.
Well, such an important game, this one. The Blues lost their last three. Port Adelaide finalists last year, just the one win for the season. So reputations are on the line. Burgoyne with those quick hands finds Stevens. He was a great player in his first season. Kicks the ball down. Corns tries to take a one-hander. Silvani on the charge, goes short inside the centre square. Franchino rockets the ball wide. Freeborn starting to win a bit of the ball as well. And this is a good kick. Hamill couldn't take it. On the ground, was knocked out by Montgomery. Going in hard was Stevens. Ratton has already kicked a couple of goals for the Blues over the top for a ball up at centre half forward.
It's a couple of marks that Hamill has dropped low down this quarter.
So Allen puts his body in front of Primus. Ratton, the playmaker, to Bradley's been magnificent in this first quarter. Can he finish it with a goal? He can. Well, he is absolutely killing them.
Well, he'd have to know this ground better than any other player out there. He's been playing here for longer than anyone. And you just watched him when he got that ball. He just, a lot of composure. He slowed down, and he just, yep, there's no one in the goal square. I'll just hit it nice and low. You'll see here, they got the play. They drew the Port player well there, but just a beautiful left foot. Knew no one was there, and he just hit it nicely.
Well, we saw the opening round game when Carlton absolutely annihilated the Brisbane Lions here against most expectations, and Bradley was absolutely fantastic that day, and he's lost a bit of form recently, but he's back to his best today. Back at Optus Oval. Ratton out of the middle. Here come the Blues again. Paxman hit the ball hard, but went without it. Hockman. Ordinary old kick. Wasn't to the advantage of the teammates or towards the goal square, and it's out in the forward pocket. 3 minutes 21 remaining in the first quarter, and it's been a quarter dominated by the Blues, but their lead just 17 points. Probably their ascendancy is greater than 3 goals. Mead comes to Ratton. Can he get 3 1/4? Yes! Well, what a start for Brett Ratton, who was best and fairest in a premiership year, but you don't see him kicking many goals. I don't know whether he's ever kicked 3 in a match, let alone a quarter.
Definitely, and also you don't see him staying in the forward line very often either, and just to see him getting in early, really obviously a brave move by the Carlton coaching staff. I don't know whether it was who would have made it, whether it's Britton or Parkin, but definitely good to see. But if you look at the hit out was poor. Shouldn't have hit it that way.
Coming into this game, Brett Ratton had kicked 3 goals for the season. He's booted 3 goals in the first quarter. Just 65 in his career, so he's not a noted goal kicker. But today, he is a star for the Blues up forward. Koutafidis goes to ground. Rice barrels in hard. He's got plenty of courage over the top as McKay and also Silvani. Not frightened to pile on top. And a ball up. 45 metres out from Port's goal. The umpire then was just indicating that there was ducking of the head.
It's very crowded here now for Port. That's just got to open up.
Just over 2.5 minutes left in this first quarter. Franchina was bundled out of the way, so was Burgoyne. Koutafidis didn't really hit a target. Rice will be happy to paddle this towards the line, but kept alive by Chedray. Short handball, Stevens. Now, the free kick is coming back.
I don't know how to figure that one out.
I think Stevens also was a little bit mystified. Now it's coming back to another player, and this time it's going to Wilson. Because it didn't appear to be a free kick to Stevens. The Carlton fans don't like it. Now, Chedray is not in the goal square. He's actually out in front of the goals. Here's Chedray now. He's got it. There you could see him. He was just setting himself. He didn't get in the goal square then, Jim. Gave himself a bit of room so he could manoeuvre.
And obviously, when a player's out that far on the 50, like Wilson, really, you've got to be kicking outside that 10-metre square just to give your forwards a chance, because it means the defensive players can't hit the ball through for a point. It's too far. So they're actually forced to actually go up and contest the mark.
Chedray from directly in front, an important kick. He's nailed it.
Well, I'm not too sure what the free kick is for, but obviously it was warranted somehow. But Wilson got it, and but really hasn't really started the way I'm sure Port would like it to start.
Might see it here.
Yeah, we'll see it here on the replay.
Well, Rice threw him over the boundary line. Yeah.
So really now we've got a 17-point difference again. So Port are just hanging in there, and they've really got to do that so they come out in the second quarter.
Well, we're back in the middle with just less than 2 minutes to go to quarter time. 6 goals to 3, Carlton in front. Primus and Allen. Comes to Ratton. What a great first term he's had with 3 goals. And Primus over the ball. The umpire says, I'll ball it up.
He's a player that's really got a lift.
A lot of players around this secondary bounce now. Allen works to the front of Primus. Comes to Franchina. Bit hot for Hume. Camporelli going past. Well, that's like rugby. There are about 4 hand passes across the ground until eventually McKay, and another one wider to Rice. Kicked by Rice up towards 50. Hamill in front. Paxton the spoil from behind. Close to the boundary line. And over. Lyle taken over. 17-point lead to the Blues in the dying moments of the first term.
Well, he's a consummate backman, Stephen Paxman. Just gets that fist to the ball, nothing fancy. Houghton. And the ball didn't really hit its target. Lappin was driven into the ground.
good play, though. He took Bishop out of the contest. Very, very clever on the throw-in.
Such a dangerous player. There's Lappin. Here's Whitnell in front. He'll be the target. Leads hard. Drops an absolute sitter in front of Mead. He's caught. Good tackle by Mead. The Blues keep the ball alive. Lappin, mercurial player. Allen with height. Primus does well at ground level. Back to Bishop. Kicks the ball to space. Carlton and Hickmott. Test of strength. Carlton can't control the ball. Boundary throw in. 38 plays, 21. 3 goals to Brett Ratton for the Blues in this first quarter. And singles to all other Carlton players in Hamill, Whitnell and Bradley. And 3 individual goal kickers for Port Adelaide. Wilson, Treadray and Bode. This man has been magnificent. Craig Bradley to Hickmott. It's a poor handball. Hitting the ball hard was Montgomery, who was pulled off the ball. So he'll take the free kick. From centre-half back. Time clock ticking away. Just a few seconds left, so they'll need to kick the ball long and deep into the forward line. Montgomery goes wide. Stevens was the target. Rice closes quickly, thumps the ball away. To end a pretty good quarter by Carlton. They may be a little bit disappointed, but the scoreboard doesn't really show their ascendancy in that first quarter. 6-2-38 to 3-3-21.
Yeah, probably worth more than a 3-goal break. But, well, what about Ratton? He started out of the centre square, and then I reckon for about the last 10 minutes he was probably in there when he kicked his 3rd goal. There was a great quarter of footy, Jim.
Yeah, no, really good. I'm very impressed with Carlton. You know, they know they're under a lot of pressure, and they've come out and put the pressure on Port. They've gone forward a lot. Ratton obviously was great, and their rucks.
17-point lead to the Blues at the first change. All-Australian ruckman Matty Allen seemed to be getting his hands to the ball and beating Primus in the middle, Jim. Would Primus still be just not quite right with that knee, whether it's physically or mentally?
I'd say the knee would probably, if anything, would be around the ground, just the fitness, flexibility and stuff. Like, Allen's a pretty good ruckman, you know. He knows how to take him forward, and Allen's gone deep a lot, which obviously worries any ruckman. If you've got to be a defender on an opponent, that's not where you want to be playing. So you want to be up around the middle of the ground. So it'll be interesting to see. I would say Primus should attack a lot more, and that will take Allen up the ground.
Centre square infringement from this near wing, and a free kick to Port. Kingsley's kick, beautiful onto the chest of Treadray. Just the way Port needed to start this quarter. Probably didn't plan on getting the free kick, but with Treadray taking the mark, well, he kicked a goal in the first quarter. He's kicked just 12 for the season. Kicked 8 in one game here against Carlton a couple of years ago. 50 metres out. In fact, more. High, it's there. It's over the line for a goal.
It was a pretty good effort. I didn't think the ball came off his boot very well. It looked like he sort of hooked it a bit, but geez, he's got a big kick. But he is a real key for Port Adelaide at centre-half forward. In a lot of the games this year, they just haven't been able to get it to him. He's had a lot of pressure on him, and so the ball is broken down at that level all the time. But, you know, he led out strong. He started deep inside 50, which meant that when he was taking the mark, he was around 50 metres. So, good start for Port.
Two goals to Treadray. They drag it back to 11-point ball game. It seems the focus on Treadray sometimes may have been just a bit too much for the young man. He's threatened to be an absolute star, hasn't quite hit those heights. He's a very good young player. And when he kicked those 8 goals against Carlton 2 years ago, injured his knee in the same game, that may have just been the setback that just stopped him from taking that huge step. He's one of the team leaders. He's a young man, and he does like playing against the Blues. He's kicked 2 goals in the game so far. Bradley just keeps on winning the ball. Camporelli didn't hit a target. Rice bundled out of the way by Burgoyne. They'll fall on top of the ball. Stevens is there, and he'll get a free kick. If you don't knock the ball out with the one action when you go to ground, Ben Nelson, the umpire will always ping you. Stevens, centre wing to the half-forward line. Harwood on a long lead, thumped away that time by Manton. Hitting the pack hard was Nelson. So a free kick will go to Camporelli. Umpire indicated high.
It's a good battle there between those two guys. Wilson's already done a pretty good job.
He's been the leading possession winner of the competition this year, Camporelli. Become a star for the Blues. He's always been very good, but he's been elevated to star status. He takes the ball over the line.
Port Adelaide are playing much tighter. They're really playing man-on-man, and I wonder whether they're actually not taking the same sort of risks as they normally would.
So test the strength on his hands and knees. Primus gets it down to Burgoyne, to Schofield. Here's Bradley. He was looking for his partner in crime in McKay. Did well. They just shared the ball around. They kept on running, and Camporelli has hit Hamill on the chest.
He's got Franchina forward.
Well, I think he might fancy his chances from 52 metres out, Hamill. It's a long bomb through for a minor score.
Matthew Bode off, Stuart 2-1. If there's any breeze, boys, it is to left of screen.
I've got to say, he sort of rushed that kick. If he knew he was going to make the difference, I would have said just take your time.
Boy, it looked like there was a go behind that kick. Francis nearly hit the centre circle with his kicking.
Yeah, Drew, there's a little bit of a breeze just out in the middle.
And Lyle gets a free kick. Sorry, Schofield gets the free kick just behind the centre circle. Well, he went for the short pass and missed the target about 15 metres away. Dew just on the ground. Ball knocked on by Kingsley. Took a bit of a rap over the shoulder there by Freeborn. No free kick. And the umpire comes in, and his signal is the ball is held in there as the crowd was screaming for Corns to be penalised.
Well, there was no free kick because he didn't have prior opportunity to get rid of the ball. No sooner did he take possession of the ball, he was tackled.
It's right on the 50. Dew actually became a ruckman. Out to Hickmott. Look at Camporelli. Does he get the footy? Goes wide, and his kick is good to Fletcher. In between half-back and wing. Simon Fletcher up to Hamill. Got his hands to it a few times and dropped a few that he might have taken. Down to Allen. Now long, Whitnell stays at the back, and here's Brett Ratton slicing them up on the forward line. Beautiful kick to Freeborn, and he marks 45 metres from goal.
Drew, just again on that, Allen again was part of that build-up. He created an extra man, which allowed Carlton then to get the ball in. And if you look, Primus is miles away now. Primus actually picked up Houghton because he was running loose, but he's got to be a bit more accountable. Can't allow free play to run through the middle.
Well, this is Scott Freeborn from right in front. No noise from behind. That kick is missed left.
Mark Williams on the blower. A trail by 13 points.
But they are playing smarter footy. He criticised them for using the handball last week too much, and today they've actually had very few handballs overall.
Bishop sends the ball just past the edge of the centre square, and there's Houghton. He's got good hands. There's a strong mark overhead. He's taken a ripper so far today. Ratton has really caught him out on the forward line. He's been known for all of his great play around midfield, but he's booted 3 goals. High ball to the square. Hamill got back off hands through for a behind. And sometimes when a player hasn't been a noted goal kicker roaming around the forward line, you just don't expect him to bob up like Ratton has today.
You make your plans and you leave him out.
You leave him out because not a noted goal kicker, just 62 goals in his career, which has been a long one with the Blues. He's a veteran now, a couple of best and fairest awards, but not a goal kicker. But today he has surprised everyone with 3 goals in that opening quarter. Allen does the roving. Camporelli tries to set it up, goes wide. Houghton just couldn't keep his footing. Camporelli is quick. He's a beautiful kick, silky skills, and this man always leading forward, playing in front. Whitnell.
A few South Australians on show today, and Camporelli about the best of them.
It's interesting, Camporelli. He's just got a bit loose there the last 5 minutes. He's just got rid of Wilson, and he set up a couple of plays. And that was a great little chip there to Whitnell. But just good frame running, because most players would have just bombed the ball long into the goal square.
Now, this player is a superstar, Lance Whitnell. We've seen him against Collingwood and Essendon when their side has been belted, and against the 2 best sides in the competition so far, he has slaughtered them, and he's popped this through. He's got 2 goals. And I think that's always a sign of a good player against the best sides in the competition. They haven't been able to hold him. And last week they had Fletcher on him, Matthew Lloyd on him, James Hird was on him, and he still took 18 marks and dominated the game.
And he's still only a young kid.
Oh, that's right.
It's quite
20.
incredible.
It's 20.
Yeah, it's quite incredible for, and they do put an awful lot of actual responsibility on him. Like, he's got the key position, whether it's centre half forward or full forward.
Blues leading by 20 points. Port kicked the first goal of this quarter, but Carlton have come back to kick the next couple. Once again, the crowd yelling, ball. Umpire says, I'm going to ball it up. Adam Kingsley in the middle there, playing on Bradley at the moment. Bradley looking to dart away from his opponent. Primus wins. Oh, Lappin taken down when he didn't have the ball, and Kingsley gave up the free kick, and it's coming back to Lappin. Played in the grand final for St Kilda, Matthew Lappin.
And Silvani's gone for a trot from full back. It's now down to the half-forward line.
Well, juicy prospects at both ends. You've got Whitnell and Hamill who can take a mark on the forward line for the Blues, and the way Corns and Treadray have started, these forwards could get amongst a few here today. Here goes Whitnell. Not this time, though. Comes to the front. Cleared by Francis. Down the outer side, Lappin. The string bean gets after it and gathers on defensive 50.
It's been a good pick-up for the Blues. I know Stan Elves had a big opinion of him at St Kilda. Hickmott, Hamill in front. Couldn't take it on the second grab. Not enough purchase. Ratton sets it up to Silvani. He's come all the way down from full-back. He's kicked it like a backman. It's rolled over the line for a boundary throw-in.
I don't know whether he actually picked the right option there. I think
should have kicked the goal, Jim.
Yeah, well, he should have, but he sort of was under a little bit of pressure, I thought.
But that's been a weakness when he's gone to the forward line, Silvani. He's a wonderful player, but he just doesn't convert when he's on the forward line. But he's come down from full back. Bradley, first mistake today. Houghton shares it with the skipper. Back to centre half forward. It's a good kick. He sets it up. Montgomery closed quickly. Keeps the ball alive. Ratton. He's going for goal number 4. It's missed.
So it was really brave there by Montgomery to take on Silvani. Silvani had that big knee and a big size 15 puff out. Tell you, little fellow, he did well. Good courage.
The kick in is pinpoint to Kingsley, who hits the ground running. Now to the centre circle. Terrific movement by Port. Stevens the mark. Out to Dewey. Can kick it a mile. Great kick. Harwood takes the mark. Now, you wouldn't move the ball better from one end to the other than that.
Yeah, no, that was good play. And you can see they're taking risks down the middle. Like a few of their kick-outs didn't work for them earlier, but...
Oh, what a great goal.
They've got a goal out of it. Well, that is good football, Drew, as you mentioned, just getting it down. They had players running through the centre. I just mentioned the last kick-out, actually Houghton marked it and stopped it, but they've just, you know, they're not giving in, they're not giving up, they're not messing around these short kick-outs out the side. You see here Drew coming down and got Horwood. Beautiful lace-out kick.
Well, Mark Williams might just run that piece of tape to him and say, that is the blueprint, that's the footy we want to play. Just keep doing it.
First goal to Mark Harwood, the young man from Tasmania. 48 plays, 33. So they just keep edging that little bit closer, Port. Maybe the confidence is starting to rise. Kingsley, inside 50. Nelson did well. Former Sturt player. Then just pumps the ball back towards the half-forward line. Carlton was there. Here's Camporelli. Danger here. The Port power didn't quite hit the target, and Allen, it was a long way down. It was foreign territory. Keeps the ball alive. Lappin tried to take a slips catch. Fabian Francis sees it over the line for a toss back in.
Drew KB, Brett Backwell is off. On and Simon Fletcher on.
7-6-48 the Blues. 5-3-33 Port. Primus and Allen, they've been at it all day. They lock horns. Primus does well, goes to ground. They'll fall on top. And he's unhappy.
A bit stiff, wasn't it? Did he trip himself? How did he finish up falling on his face?
I thought he lost his footing. Let's have a look here.
Yeah, he did fall, but you can't just hang over the play.
Oh, I don't know.
You're right, yeah, he got tripped by Allen.
I reckon Allen hooked him a little bit with his foot.
He did, but you can't just fall and let go of the ball and just hope that, you know, it's play on.
Well, Brett Ratton, a red letter day, has kicked 4 goals.
Well, he's certainly the surprise packet today, Ratton, but, you know, I got to say, with a big fella, when you fall over, you just got to get that ball out of there. You'll see here, probably bit of pulling and shoving, but yeah, he did catch him.
Good point.
With that big brace there. And look, the ball's under him, and he's looking at the umpire. Like, why wouldn't you just palm it out?
Once you go to ground, you've got to knock the ball, Jim. Otherwise, all players would know that the umpire will ping you if you don't do that.
Well, I can imagine the households in Adelaide out Elizabeth Way and Port Adelaide fans, they'll be going absolutely crooked that way. Franchina to Bradley, wide to Rice. He'll be run down by Murray. Got a bit of toe, young Murray. Oh, and then he legged Dean Rice.
Now, what's that? It's not a 50 anymore, is it?
Unable to report.
Centering ball. Allen takes the mark. Yes, before the spoil came, the mark paid. Look at Camporelli just curling around at the back and just knocking up, getting possessions. Beautiful kick. Well, give it to a bloke who could kick it like that, and the team will win every time. Cotton.
And it's interesting, they do look for Camporelli and Bradley like that. They'll give them the little short handballs, the little short kicks. Knights is a bit like that. Campbell at Richmond.
But his disposal, look at that kick. Never went higher than head height for 45 metres. Houghton kicks the goal.
Well, that's a pretty important kick there. That's given them a 4-goal, 3 lead, which you know, Port Adelaide just can't afford to allow that to happen. But you know, Kent are just very good at using this ground. Like, they had the ball in the middle, and that again, Primus letting Allen free, and able to chip it across, and they put a beautiful lead there and mark there to Houghton, who's really given Carlton something on the forward line.
Blues by 27 points. Real success story. Trent Houghton started his career at Collingwood. Just played in the local league with East Burwood, was a star there and picked up by the Blues. He was given a second chance and he's grabbed it with both hands. Rice on the charge, the burst. Big pack of players was thumped away, thumped on that time by Matthew Lappin. Bishop, cool under pressure to Fabian Francis. Can use the ball to Burgoyne. Again, a casual bounce. It was lucky to come back. Pumps the ball wide into space, but here's Koutafidis way out in front of Treadray. They're setting up across half-back. Hickmott from half-back. A thumping kick to the half-forward. Hamill couldn't take it. Here's Backwell just onto the ground. Hits the ball hard, and he should have been pinged there as well, because he went to ground and didn't try and knock the ball out, but the umpire was a bit too far off the pace, Kieran Nichols, and just didn't pick it up.
Can I just say that last counter-attack for Port Adelaide, Francis, he gave off the handball and he just ran.
Kicked it anyway.
But he didn't put on a shepherd, which then put them back under pressure again.
Just over 10 minutes left in the second term. Bradley, the Franchina. Freeborn was there as well, doing well that time. Was Stevens, got to fist the ball, then wins out. He's quick, super quick. Now, they've played advantage. I'm not quite certain whether there's an advantage there. Now, the umpire has done the right thing. He's blown the whistle, and they're going to bring the ball back. In fact, they're going to play it downfield. Well, there's a surprise. Treadray, edge of the centre square. Kicks the ball wide. Harwood's the target. Sandwich between two Carlton defenders. Manton will do the shepherding that you've just been speaking about, Jim. McKay, casual under pressure. It's a poor kick. Just a bit too casual.
Oh.
Kingsley, that's a shocking handball. Great bump by Houghton. Pounced on by Bradley. Blues on the rebound. Backwell, who is quick at centre half forward, kicks the ball to space, running with the flight. Great grab, not paid. Didn't hang on, it was a throw. Shoveled out that time by Mead. He did well to beat Whitnell. It's onto the half forward line. Finally bundled over the line by Backwell. Got into the back also of Burgoyne. Make that Derek Murray.
I think he could have got
for a boundary throw in.
Yeah, I think that was in the back.
Was that a throw here?
Ooh.
Shoveled out by Mead.
Some sort of a hand pass.
Primus just couldn't quite get to the contest. Wilson can. Heads towards the line. Lappin squeezed up. Tries to keep it alive. Couldn't quite hit a target with Ratton. They want a free kick for deliberately out of bounds. Boundary throw in.
There's something wrong here with Francis.
It's a bit sore.
Trouble.
And Primus is off as well.
Chance here for Port. Stevens. Michael Stevens, and the mark taken by Allen. This time he's got back into defence rather than going forward. Allen at centre half-back. To Silvani. Out to centre wing. Hume. Awkward bounce. He was good enough to gather it. Kick by Hume. Whitnell, but French just on the ground, gets in front to take the mark.
Glad to see him on the ground too, Drew. I just thought he was a real talent last year, Barnaby French.
McKay marks for the Blues.
He's got a bit of endurance too to stay with Allen.
Kick by McKay, just inside the 50. Oh, at the back, Houghton. About third in line. Who's he paid? Man in front.
Barnaby French.
Good decision.
So Barnaby, the former rower. Good mark. You could call that a contested mark. Boy, could you ever. Out to centre wing. Treadray a long way from home. He has walked over the boundary line and the umpire calls for the throw-in. Margin 27 points. Carlton led by 17 at quarter time.
You see here on the screen, that's Francis getting taken out of the play.
And Francis leaving the ground, injured in that little clash.
He's got a sore sternum, Drew.
Lyle, Schofield, they can't get boot to ball. Allen, some sort of a hand pass, looked more like a throw, and the ball's back out of bounds. Pushing the back. Carlton's free.
And Bradley, quick to react to Hume, started on the bench, lively player, centre half forward. Houghton playing in front. Murray, looks like he's a good tackler. Hickmott, inside the centre square, hits the chest of Whitnell.
They're just too good when it comes to a lot of the pack situations.
Yeah, too many numbers around the ball, Jim.
Yeah, they get it out well and then they get forward, and this guy Whitnell is always presenting. Or if it's not him, it's Houghton or Hamill. They've got three good leaders to the ball.
Francis in a bit of trouble there.
Such a good player too, Fabian Francis. Lance Whitnell. Magnificent kick. He's kicked 3.
You spoke about Francis there. When you get hit, because he wasn't watching he was watching the man who had the ball, kicking it, and he got sort of hit from the side. But it's always a hard one. You get hit like that, you just don't know where it's come from. But you'll just see here, in front, Carlton players always leading, giving out little handballs. And again, with a guy like Whitnell leading like that, it's not difficult to find him.
Does that qualify as unwarranted and unexpected contact? Fabian Francis being treated here, it's not good because he's their kick-in man. So their defensive set plays start with Fabian Francis. High ball from Schofield, inside the 50. Kudafidi spoiling Treadray. That'll be the matchup for the whole day, you'd reckon. Well, Camporelli, he is absolutely slaughtering them, getting a heap of it. Might get another one here in a minute. Corns, quick exchange of hand pass. Treadray on the run. Harwood underneath the ball. Manton, that full stretch, a good mark.
Good play. He's got Kudafidi here, who's also playing very well on Treadray.
Blues playing confident football now. Allen, cross half backs. No good bombing the ball inside 50 because Allen does get back and helps out with his big height. He does it so well. So Treadray could struggle. Just couldn't tell that mark. Maybe should have outmarked Franchina. Camporelli to Manton. Just fiddling with the ball at the moment, the Blues. Maybe a touch of confidence coming into their play. Silvani goes wide. Very, very wide. Bradley, again, just shoveled the ball back out to Silvani, who ran hard after the kick. Lappin, hands and knees. Well, they've had a lot of possessions, but they're going nowhere, the Blues. Now Bradley pumps the ball along to Franchina. He's on centre wing. Hamill, long lead. Kick the ball long, says Houghton. I want to take another big grab. Thumped. They need a crummer. Wilson. And Backwell gets into his back. Pushes him over the line.
KB, just to go back to the play that was on the half-back line for Carlton. Corns was, like, he looks pretty tired at the moment. They just let Silvani get over to that second effort. Didn't put enough pressure to hold the play in, their forward line.
Why would he be tired, Jim? We haven't even played a half of football yet. He's only a young man. He shouldn't be tired.
Shouldn't be.
Mead. Wilson. Tough competitor. This kick was under pressure, drops short, and Hickmott is enjoying a good day as well. To centre half forward, Hamill just hasn't been able to hold his marks. It was interfered with on this occasion. We'll take the free kick. They've got Hamill leading, Whitnell leading, and Houghton is also a strong grab overhead. So plenty of marking power for the Blues. Danger here for Port. Houghton again got his hands on the ball. Good strong play taken away by Burgoyne, who pumps the ball wide to Kingsley, who can win a lot of the ball to Stevens. This is a better passage of play. He's got pace. and Treadray out in front. So reminiscence of their play about 10 minutes ago, which resulted in a goal. Treadray from 65 metres out. A big ball. Harwood's got 2 to beat. He's got it.
Oh, great mark.
That is a good grab.
You call it there, KB. He did have 2. Nelson just peeled off and was coming in from the side.
Well, he's from Triabunna in Tasmania. I've been to Triabunna. It's just a speck.
Try what?
Triabunna. It's just a speck. Graham's at home.
Is he their most famous export?
I would suggest he was. In fact, I've got a feeling once I trained the footy team down there, he might have been just one of the young kids running around. But it's just a speck down there in Tasmania, Triabunna. But they love their footy.
Well, he's got a good pair of hands, because you'll see here on the pressure of Manton and Nelson. And he was able to take that. That's his second good grab and goal at this quarter. So they need to do a bit more, though, Port, but they're just hanging in there.
Ball back in the middle, and what's this? Off the ball. The umpire not in the play has seen something. Now, that wasn't encroaching on the square. I'm not sure what it was. French takes the free kick.
I think it was actually something down the back line with Hamill.
If Hamill had taken every mark he'd got his hands to today, he'd have kicked about 8 goals by now. Allen, guess who? Camporelli to Bradley. Good running by Hickmott, but a good chase by Stevens. Hickmott's kick is good, and Hamill's marked this one.
Well, I think Allen will be up there as well. Allen must have taken about 7 marks already. And Hamill will be pretty close to him.
And Jim, Chad Corns come off the ground and Matthew Primus went on.
Yeah, I thought he was running out of legs there.
So would you describe Matty Allen's game as a bit similar to yours, Jim? After the centre hit out, he's really a 6'6" ruck rover getting around.
Yeah, he does it well, because he's not just a defender, he attacks as well, and he's unpredictable in the way he plays, which is important.
Hamill's kick drifting right to left for a behind. So he has had his hands on the ball a lot, and for all those efforts, he's kicked 1 goal too.
Okay, can I also say about Allen that he gets a lot of play in the corridor as well. Like, he's not a ruckman that's just running out to the wings trying to get the easy one.
Bishop to Carlton. Just gave it straight up to Whitnell. So danger here now for Port Power. Hamill hit the ball hard. Ratton, well, he was going for his 5th goal. He gives it to Backwell. And the Blues are killing Port Adelaide.
Well, that's got to be 1 nail pretty early. It's not good signs for Port, because you don't want to go into half-time, 30, 40 points down. But really, that's just too soft.
Was young Backwell entitled to get out of the way here and let this go through for Ratton?
No, I think you've got to take it, because the ball just might hit the ground and bounce sideways, Drew.
And he also, it looked like he was kicking it to him. We could see him in the goal square.
So Backwell gets his first goal. And Carlton 11-7 to 6 goals 3. Well, they started the season kicking big scores, 22 goals in each of their first 2 rounds. But their goals have dried up since, but they're on target to get back to their form of the first 2 weeks. Camporelli away to Hume. Hume, there's Allen playing like the ruck rover, running off French this time, and a terrific kick to Fletcher. Fletcher over the top. Bit wide for Whitnell. There's Backwell. Down he goes. Held when not in possession. Free kick to the former Queenslander. Playing his first game in the seniors for the season. In short to Ratton. And Ratton is just having a gilt-edged day.
Well, I've got to say with Backwell, he's just giving a bit of zip. Something
quick.
that Carlton haven't had in the first round rounds. They've been found out just a bit slow, but just carrying a bit of weight. And maybe it's age, I don't know what it is, or predictability, but Backwell's good. He's a bit of zip in there. And
Brett Ratton for his 5th.
yep, it looks good.
What a day for the Rat.
I saw Backwell last year, Jim, on a couple of games, and he was very good because he was quick, and he looked like one of those players. He tackles very, very well, and he closes quickly on the ball. And the Carlton have virtually had the same midfield, haven't they, with Bradley and Ratton and Fraser Brown and those boys. Of course, Fraser Brown out, so Backwell gets his chance, and he does add that zip to him, and he's a pretty good young player. And I think he's had a few injuries also with the Blues, so maybe big things to come. They lead by 40 points, the Blues. Allen got his hands on the ball first. Schofield pulled up by Bradley. Hume, hard worker as well. Hickmott to Franchina, sets it up, looking for Fletcher. I thought he was pulled off the ball. There was no free. Hamill tickles the ball along, goes to ground. Must knock the ball out. Fletcher, hands and knees, keeps the ball alive. Fabian Francis, that's a good sign. He's back on the ground, around the corner. 2 against 1. That's been the story of the game. The Blues just outnumbering Port Power. Ratton, with his 5 goals, has been an unexpected goal kicker. Now they're fiddling around. They concede ground and backtrack. Kutafidi just wobbles the ball forward. It was a shocking kick. Barnaby French lopes, caught. Good tackle by Beaumont. Kingsley somehow got his foot to the ball, but the Blues are going in hard. Beaumont off the interchange bench. Quick snap, he's kicked the goal. Robert Higley's stand is rocking.
It is. It's like a couple of extra thousand Carlton supporters have come down to witness this. They haven't had a whole lot to cheer about this year, and they must have heard it. But certainly, they just got numbers. They've got confidence now. They're getting the ball out of the centre. And really, there's not a whole lot that Carlton can do wrong at the moment. Particularly Allen, he's really up today. He's had a bit of pressure on him against quite a few teams this year with Ruckman changing, but he doesn't seem to have a problem with Primus and French.
6 goals in the first quarter, 7 in the second for the Blues, and they are running riot here. Carlton player held when he didn't have the ball, and it'll come back to Backwell. Running Beaumont, who kicked the last goal. There's more to come here, apparently. Hume, Hamill just underneath the ball, and the mark taken in defence by Paxman. Wide he goes to Stevens. This is Michael Stevens playing his first senior game for the year. Anthony Stevens' brother, the Kangaroo Premiership player. Here's Nick Stevens. Those 2 Stevens boys unrelated. If you can follow that, you're a better man than I. The long kick to full forward. Primus works to the front. Gets an awkward half volley. Ball flipped up to Kutafidis. Hugs the boundary line. Camporelli dropped the mark, but he'll get another kick. And Carlton seem to be in a comfort zone when they come back to Optus Oval. I suppose, well, they train here and they play here, and a lot of teams don't get that advantage. Their training venue is not necessarily the home ground. McKay to Rice. Will there be time for another one before the siren at halftime? Kick by Rice towards the 50. Allen's gone forward again, and the siren beats them. But a rollicking Carlton, having lost their last 3 games in a row, are back in touch here at Optus Oval. Brett Ratton, 5 first-half goals. And we saw Fabian Francis off injured. He's back for the last couple of minutes just before the break. And the Blues 13-7. Port Adelaide 6 goals, 3, Jim.
Yeah, it's quite a big lead, 46 points. They've stretched it. But, you know, at the start of that quarter, I thought Port Adelaide started taking it to Carlton. They started getting in, and they took some risks through the middle. But Carlton just got more numbers at the ball. They got more numbers in packs. Allen's on top. Ratton, Allen. It just keeps going on. It doesn't look like it's going to change.
Big lead to the home side. And welcome back to Optus Oval, where the second half is about to get underway. Carlton with a 46-point lead at the long break. 13-7 to 6 goals, 3. So in their 3 losses, their goals really dried up, but they're back in goal-kicking form here today. Allen with a long run at Primus. Allen easily. Oh, Bradley just dances through the middle. Ratton, he delayed the hand pass and got caught. Wilson out of the middle. It bounces up. The hand pass in from Montgomery. They've lost it. McKay. Kutafidis just gets it away. Freeborn is there.
Kingsley's down also for Port Power.
He's seeing stars at the moment, Adam Kingsley. Helped to his feet by Brett Montgomery and others.
They've got Nick Stevens now in Camporelli, and Wilson's gone on to Ratton. He's still not in the centre. Ratton's on half forward.
That was a wrestling hold, just a canvas slammer, and down he went, and his head hit the ground pretty hard.
Well, I'm not quite certain who's been playing on Bradley and Camporelli, because they've been winning all their possessions without an opponent too close to him. Allen from the half-back line. Try to spear it down. Lappin with touch. Runs inside 50. 45 metres out and closing. Kicks a goal.
Well, you did pick that one, KB, who is on Campriali, and he was back there, and he had Stevens on him, but he just seemed to get away. As you see here, Hickmont getting the ball out to Allen, but Allen again, another player that should be manned up, getting free.
And Jim, you played with Bishop at Melbourne. He must be pretty quick. He has closed the gap.
Yeah, he's very, very quick. The problem with Bishop is when he comes down the back line with the ball, you often see him darting away from packs, but he often is not too good on finding loose players, so he just tends to just bomb the ball into the forward line.
I thought Lappin would show him a clean pair of heels, but well, Bishop nearly got him. Well, just what Port didn't need. The first goal of the second half going to Carlton. And here's a holding the ball decision. Once again, a Carlton free kick. Everything going the Blues' way. Bradley, well, you've got a man up, Port. This is disgraceful. McKay into the hole. And a mark, yes, it's paid to Paxman. Close to the ground.
Drew, they're just asking Adam Kingsley what day it is. He's very dizzy.
Did hit the ground very hard. Schofield marks it right halfback. Gets around Lappin. Koutafidis. At the back, Nelson.
Well, here's a chance.
Carlton put the pressure on. Stevens, well, he couldn't pick it up, and they've lost it again. Ball flipped up to Freeborn. Beautiful kick, and Lappin's off and running again.
He's a very good kick, Freeborn. Out in front, this man's big frame.
Yeah, Drew, Stevens put his hand instead of taking the body through the ball.
Hamill. Showing courage was Fabian Francis. Hickmont, a high ball. It's a floater. It's a floater. It's floated through. His first goal of the game. Been a good player. And we just saw down here before, one of the problems with Port Adelaide, that short kick to Treadray had two Carlton players on him. He was sandwiched in between the two of them, Jim. Yep. You can't kick short to a contest. They lose the ball. Yeah, and Treadray would have to be one of the... You know, you'd have to have Tony Lockett and Jason Dunster rolled into one to take that mark.
Yeah, and then when the ball turns over, they got free men everywhere. Lappin, as you saw here, just Whitnell coming out.
Carlton going on their merry way here, nearly the century, and Port heading for their fourth loss in 5. In fact, 5th loss in 6. Nelson up 250. Whitnell waits at the back. Houghton almost. Houghton had a second attempt. Lappin, the hand pass through. Well done, Franchina to Camparelli. And he missed it from about 25 metres.
Couldn't quite get around onto his right foot enough then, Drew. He needed to take another step to get around. The block was there, but he just didn't come around far enough. Mark Williams looks on. He'd be a disappointed Mark Williams at the moment.
Well, he would, because it's hard. If you've got players like Campriali, you put someone on them to run with them, and they still can't do that job.
Burgoyne kicks the space. He couldn't find a teammate. Houghton to Bradley. What a game he's playing. 36 years of age. He is killing Port Adelaide. Rice, again, another loose player. This time it's Hickmont. They'll just share the ball around. And here's Ratton. He's kicked 5 goals. 3 of them came in the first quarter. 2 in the second term. He's lining up for his 6th.
Now, Burgoyne's complaining that the umpire got in his way. I wonder if we'll get a shot of this.
Yeah,
Burgoyne virtually had to hurdle umpire, Coates.
It's a good shepherd there. No, you don't see it, but...
Well, that's just bad luck in football. It's like the ball striking the umpire, bouncing off him.
And it's using the umpire, if you can, as a block.
Ratton. A red-letter day. Here's kick 6.
Now, you'd think he'd be jumping around, hands in the air, big smiles, and it's just like a bit of a itch on the ear, and another goal.
Well, that'd be the most number of goals he's kicked in a league game, Brett Ratton, because he only had 62 in his career coming into this game, and he's been one of their best players. He's won a couple of best and fairnesses over the years, but he's playing his 205th game today.
Yes, it's a safe bet that Ratton is having a PB here today. 6 goals. Carlton have lost this one out of the middle, but now they've got it through Nelson. The whistle had gone. It was going to be a free advantage. Free kicks, bounce of the ball, the skill level, everything going Carlton's way. Ratton to Allen. Allen's kicked to full forward. Houghton, good mark.
Well, I was just thinking there before, their emergencies today, Sexton, O'Reilly, Mansfield, 520 games between them, all left out, and obviously Brown from suspension. But it seems to have just given Carlton a bit of balance, a bit more youth in there, and they're just running and running.
Trent Houghton, never a doubt from where he was. He's kicked 2. I mentioned the home ground advantage, Jim. For instance, when you were at Melbourne, MCG was your home ground, but you didn't train there. You trained at the Junction. A lot of clubs these days, Essendon train at Windy Hill. They don't play there. It's one of the few clubs who actually gets to train where they play.
Yeah, so there is a definite home ground advantage. Actually, I have a friend out from Ireland at the moment, and he was surprised that he said there mustn't be any home ground. Like, it's in soccer, everyone has a stadium they play. So
Blues by 71 points. 9 individual goal kickers, of which Brett Ratton's got 6. Lance Whitnell has booted 3, and 2 to Trent Houghton. What a pickup he has been from East Burwood. No wonder he carved up that competition. Bode to Francis, took a heavy knock early in the game, pumps the ball back towards the half-forward line. Silvani got Corns to beat. Look at the numbers across half-back Camporelli. See if you can find out who's playing on him, will you please, Jim? Backwell, who is a quick player, tickles the ball around his opponent. Magnificent play, but he's given away the free kick. Momentarily held on to Fabian Francis, who bangs the ball out wide. Stevens, great defensive play by McKay. He closed quickly. Camporelli got across there in quick time to help, but finally it will be a ball up.
Well, KB, if you're tagging a player and you can't stop them, I think it's time to just go and play footy and drop all the tags and just go out and let every player do what they can.
Burgoyne paddling the ball along in front, getting close attention from Franchina to Backwell. So a couple of young guns combined. Gives it across to Hamill, who drives the ball long. Houghton's going to be the target. So good overhead. Poulton. You'd hate to be a backman for Port Adelaide today. It would be horrendous. Stevens in front of Hickmott. A touch of arrogance. Nice to see a bounce to the ball. Then kicks the ball down. Here's a strong mark. Taken by Jew. Usually finishes off with a good kick. He's looking for Harwood. He's got a couple of goals. He's given a shove out to Manton and has given away the free kick. They trail by 71 points, Port Adelaide, playing for a bit of pride.
Manton in short to Nelson, across the ground. Here he comes again, just as though he popped up out of one of the sprinkler heads. Camporelli, and Allen takes the mark at half forward. In between wing and half forward. Matty Allen, Whitnell, and also Koutafidis, no mark. Francis, Camporelli again, free kick.
Well, he's always been a very good player, Scott Camporelli. He was runner-up in the Norwich Rising Star to Nick Holland. But I would say, Drew, that this year he's become a star midfielder. Yeah. He's really taken a giant step this year, Scott Camporelli. He threatened again last year, but I think this year, the leading possession winner in the competition, he's just added just a few things to his game. He's probably tougher at the ball. He's
fitter, I'd say.
Probably fitter, yep. Running harder.
There he is, 26 possessions, and midway through the third quarter. So his average is 30. He'll blow that away today. Camporelli away to the right with his kick. Almost marked in the field of play by Hamill. Jim, you toured Ireland with Campo in 1998.
Yep. Yeah, no, look, I've got to say he has improved a hell of a lot. And even looking today, you'd have to say he'd be one of the Brownlow medal favourites at this stage. Very like Shane Crawford last year.
Yes, he's actually playing similar football to Shane Crawford, isn't he?
Yep.
Here he is again. Well, it's amazing. I can't find anyone playing on him. That's a beautiful kick to Hamill, who leads very hard at the ball. One thing about Aaron Hamill, he presents himself. And that man on screen has been a star with Ratton and also Bradley.
And he had 2 men to beat there, and just Camporelli's kick was so low and hard, he really had to pick him. It was a fine line.
And no chance for the backman of Port Adelaide. When the ball's coming in as fast as it is from Carlton's midfield, you really have no chance. And if they're good with their skills, as Camporelli is and Bradley, they will set it up. You've only got to be a metre in front of your opponent. It's virtually impossible to win the ball. This is a shocking kick, but look at this. It's landed in the arms of Hickmott. It was just a floater. And we saw in the finals last year, Adrian Hickmott, was such a good player. He's a very good mark overhead, surprisingly good mark. Just didn't come off the boot, but Hickmott, with no player near him, has just wandered into the forward line and kicked a goal. He's got 2.
Well, isn't it always the way? When things are going your way, the ball bounces, it drops out of the sky into your hands. But I've got to say, it's time now for Port Adelaide. They've just got to forget about all these key matchups and tags and whatever. They've got to put the best players in the best positions and just go and play footy. Attack the ball, take a few risks out of the back line, and stop worrying about who's getting the ball and who's not getting it.
A couple of Blues in the stand. Justin Murphy, Ronnie Diulio. Well, Justin Murphy, I don't know when he'll be back. Long-term injury, injured in the grand final last year. Ronnie Diulio, we had a bit of fun with him last year playing in a game at Optus Oval. He's never kicked a goal in league football. He had about 5 attempts and he stubbed his toe and he missed everything. He still hasn't kicked a goal. Ball back near the centre, knocked forward by Wilson. Comes to McKay. Out wide he goes. Houghton gives chase. Daniels on the ground. He spent the first half on the bench, Stephen Daniels, in his 50th game. Finally gets a run. Look at Backwell in there. Surfer boy.
Well, here's an interesting move. Bradley's at full forward. It's not too often you see him down there and Campriali up beside him.
It's Daniels, and, well, it was just brute force. Got Backwell over the boundary line.
I just want to add to that, we've got Burgoyne and Lyle, full back and back pocket.
Well, of course, picking up Craig Bradley and Scott Camporelli. Just taking a bit of a breather for those two. Stevens intercepted by Freeborn. Inside 50. Oh, what a grab! Lance Whitnell, take a bow. He is a sensational player, Lance Whitnell, 20 years of age. He's having an unbelievable season. He's just carved up the Bombers. He's carved up Collingwood at centre-half forward. Both those games, the Blues lost and never looked like winning. But this man terrorised the best players in the competition, and he's doing it again today. He's booted 3 goals from right on 50. Lance Whitnell, a rare mistake.
They even had Koutafidis down trying to snatch a goal.
Last time these two sides met, they won by about 38 points. Port Power, they had that 89-point win over Carlton here. Maybe it's payback day for the Blues.
And even though Carlton had lost 3 in a row, they're only half a game outside the 8. So they're knocking on the door, and a win here with percentage, which they'll get by keeping their opponents to such a low score, will put them right back in the firing line, and we're only 6 weeks into the season.
See, Bishop has gone forward now. Silvani's picking him up.
Allen and Primus. McKay might have been looking for the line then and found it.
Backwell off, Fletcher on.
KB, would you move players like Treadway around and maybe put Mead up forward, or?
Look, you could do whatever you like now, I would think, Jim. You might as well experiment, try a few different things. Sometimes it helps click. Players in different positions do the unusual, as we saw even today with Ratton starting on the forward line, kicking 3 goals in the first quarter.
Bishop working pretty well, but a bit slow to get boot to ball, and a staggering mark taken by Bode.
Did well though, Bishop. Like he looked long. He was on his left foot and wasn't too confident to get that in. You know, to kick from there from 50. And he just held it long enough to find a free man.
Well, he looks a good build and a good mover to me, Bishop.
Yeah, no, he is. He's tall. He's about 6 foot, probably 4, but very, very fast for a big fella. And sometimes not too sure that making decisions, which is a very, very important component of footy, you need to just be able to see laterally across the ground.
Here's the look behind Bode as he kicks for goal from 40 metres. Home it goes. His second, and Port's first goal of this second half, while Carlton have kicked 5.
And he's always looked a dangerous player in his short career, Matthew Bode. We see here Wilson just firing out this handball. This is pretty good play here by Bishop. as we saw, he nearly ran down Matthew Lappin before. Just a casual bounce running away from Fletcher. Then able to set it up to Bode, who kicked a goal. Blues by 73 points, 18-10 plays, 7-3. Hamill to Ratton. So many good players across midfield. Franchina, the young players, got a fair amount of run in his legs too. Daniels had it and lost it. Ratton, the playmaker, back to Bradley. Primus running with the flight of the ball, couldn't take control, leaves it for Montgomery. Burgoyne tries to set it up out of defence, too slow, so Carlton should kick a goal. Koutafidis to Hamill, 35 metres out, just pushed off the ball as he kicked it, so he'll get a push.
To see what Kuta did then, he ran sideways, he protected the ball with his body and just gave a half-a metre hand pass.
Yeah, waited because the player then has got to commit, so he just waited till he was about to be tackled and then he's able to give it off. Smart.
And here's Treadray coming in very late, and you can see there,
undisciplined,
shoved straight in the back.
But even the centre bounce head, I was just watching Primus a few times, he's just completely missing the ball, and then it's just, you're not really giving your players in there a chance. He's actually coming off the ground now. I think he's done something to his hand. He might get that cagey.
Hamill directly in front, looking for Carlton's 19th goal, and he's got it. 2 goals, Darren Hamill, and the Blues are just absolutely running away with this game. They've kicked 6 goals in this quarter. They kicked 7 goals in the second term and 6 goals in the first quarter. So they're right on average at the moment.
I tell you, it must be tough for Mark Williams to be coaching a side that's 1-5 start of the season.
Allen goes up against French. Bode having a go on the ball. Wilson pulled off the kick by Franchina. Franchina gets it from McKay. Now he's swamped, high tackle. So Port Adelaide are desperate. They're fumbling.
50.
They're giving away free kicks, and even worse than that, giving away 50 metres. So Franchina will come up to within about 20 to 25 metres of goal and kick another goal for the Blues. Well, if last week was a nightmare against the Hawks, it's got even worse for the Power today.
So I'd hate to be sitting in that matches committee box.
Franchina goals. And Jim, to me, or somehow, the only miracle is that somehow Port beat Brisbane by 43 points, and I'm not sure how that happened.
Yeah, well, it was a surprise to me. I thought Brisbane had started okay this year, but obviously haven't, and Port got an opportunity. But they have been competitive in some of their games, but in others, like I watched them play against Essendon in the first round, they were just terrible. And again, we're just seeing the same sort of performance. Like, you've got to be relentless and you've got to hang in there. You just got to put pressure on the opposition.
And it's interesting to have a look at that centre bounce. You've got Hume in there along with Franchina. And Ratton was there, so a couple of young kids starting in the centre bounce. We've seen Backwell at different stages. Franchina, this time the ball will come back.
Look, they are the so-called B graders. You know, if you haven't got Ratton, Brown and Bradley in there, anybody else is B grade.
Montgomery.
Franchina's done a great job, I thought, in the centre all right to this point. He's taken a few players out.
But it looks like Carlton want to get a few of those younger players in that centre square just to help out. There's Koutafidis over the back. His confidence has grown and grown. He's been a good player as well. Hume, one of the youngsters we've just been talking about, inside 50. So Hamill's got 3 to beat. Barnaby French, who started on the bench, has marked in the last line. So a transfer of play, Fabian Francis. Good defensive play by Whitnell, who's mining the mark as if they're about 15 goals behind.
I reckon all the Carlton forwards are very good. As soon as the ball turns over, they're quick to get on their opponents.
Blood rule here with Barnaby French going off.
He's only on about a minute.
Well, there's a bit of treatment going on for Primus, but he is ready to come back on. That's good. Well, what more can go wrong for Port?
It'll take 12 months for Matthew Primus to get back to his best because he was an exciting player. Still pretty young, Matthew Primus. He's only about 22 years of age.
He's in the primus of life.
And coming off a knee reconstruction and a bad one, it's going to take a number of games to get you right back into the rigours of the game.
The KB, he's still not a player, though, that has got good flexibility, because some days you can't have a big ruckman just standing around, dropping back.
Burgoyne kicks the ball wide. Big pack of players. There's Ratton, the juggler. Does it well. Silvani back to Ratton. Had it lost, and look at the tackle by Ratton. Koutafidis to Bradley. He's been magnificent. Camper rallies in front. Could kick it off the ground. It's missed. He's looking for a free. He felt he may have been manhandled without the ball.
He definitely could have got one, but I don't think it really deserved a free kick, but it was very close.
In cricket, there's such a thing as the nervous 90s. Is there such a thing in football? Because Camporelli is sitting on 99 goals, and he's had 2 shots in this quarter from no more than 20 metres out and missed them both.
Treadray has come a long, long way up from full forward. In fact, he's marked at centre-half back.
Maybe one of those punters has got a few bob on him.
There was an Indian on the phone just before the game. Here's Bode. Kick by Bode to full forward. He needs Corns. Good effort to come from nowhere, really, but Nelson's now got the pill. Wide to Fletcher.
Maybe you had Ratton for 6 goals as well.
Yeah. Kick by Fletcher. Up to centre wing. Franchina waiting for it to sit. Tackle wasn't half bad, actually. Hamill. Up to Koutafidis. Even the ball sitting for the Carlton players. Kouta's hand pass in. Franchina's kept on going. How good is that? And Ratton will be kicking for another one. Now, 7 goals gets you in the record books. They have a cut-off point of 7 goals. There's lots of full forwards and the occasional Lee Matthews and so on, but, well, Ratton's giving it off.
Silly.
That's how Carlton are going. Hot in the hand pass. Lappin. Got it. 2 goals this quarter to Matthew Lappin. And Carlton have kicked 8 goals to 1 for the term.
You got to say, that piece of play, any other day, crossing the ball there, you had 2 players to beat McKay. Normally, the ruckman would have taken that mark, but today everything's just going their way. Everything.
And Lappin leaves the field. Well, it's even tough to stay on the ground. He's kicked 2 goals in his third quarter, and Matthew Lappin has gone for a bit of a rest on the bench. Brendan Favola goes to full forward. Young man really has had the spotlight on him since he kicked 12 goals in that Millennium game.
Doesn't look good for Ratton. He'll be off in a minute.
Bode. That kick before into the forward line wasn't really to their advantage from Matthew Bode, looking for young Harwood to kick it to the other side of the contest. 137 plays, 45. That's a 92-point deficit, which is better than Port Power's 89-point victory in 1998. So the Blues, it's really payback day. Manton kicks the ball wide to Rice, start the game well. Playing in the helmet today after being heavily hit last week. Ratton has the ball thumped away. And good defensive play that time by Montgomery. Sees the ball over the line for a toss back in.
Just on Barnaby French, just a cut to the forehead, just bandaged up, with the right to come on.
Well, they've kicked 8 goals in this quarter, the Blues. The Port Adelaide's 1. They've kicked 6, 7 and 8 goals so far in the match, each quarter. Ratton sets it up to Rice, runs the 50. Dean Rice, 45 metres out, hammers it home.
Well, how good was that by Ratton, who's kicked a bundle himself, but just terrific play to set up his teammate, and Matty Lappin enjoyed that from the bench.
Well, this is a rout. This is a no contest, Jim.
Yeah, it's really sad though. Like, you come to these games, spectators expect a good. Although I don't think Carlton supporters are complaining, but really from Port Adelaide and from the coaching committee, I'm sure they would have really thought about this game, put a lot of preparation into it, but just very half-hearted efforts.
I reckon that was a miracle goal by Rice, because with a puffy eye and the helmet virtually over his eyebrows, he was lucky to see the goals. Look at that. And when he looked up, all he could see was a helmet.
Looks like a sparring partner for Mike Tyson.
Wilson's kick hasn't cleared the centre square yet, and the Blues are hunting in numbers to win the footy and going very hard. They lead by nearly 100, but look at this. There was a bit of a head clash in there, and a head snapped back, and some of the Carlton players not happy. Stevens looked like the culprit, and you don't see Stephen Silvani doing that too often. Now Stevens, number 24.
At least they showed a bit of aggression then, KB.
Well, I think there's a little bit of acting there by Hamill.
It was young Stevens in his first game, so I don't think anything was meant.
Now can Carlton sweep it forward again? Here's Camporelli. They can't stop him. Got it from Allen. Whitmell outnumbered. Not this time. Treadray back in defence. Straight to Camporelli. He's a ball magnet today. Favola. He threw it, said the umpire, and it's a Port free kick. And quickly taken. And they've really turned the side upside down. And it was quickly taken down there by Stevens got it, and now Harwood's got it. Just behind the wing. Harwood's kick. Corns. He paid the mark. Well, he started well, but it hasn't been on Port's forward line too often since... Well, it really hasn't been there much of the game at all. Corns. Throw a blanket over about 24 players here, and the mark taken by French.
It's interesting, you got a full forward in Corns, you've got to come up to the wings, get a kick.
Could we get a French goal here? May we?
Oh, no, monsieur. Well, I suppose at this stage of the game, you're playing for pride, respect. And you can't just roll over, so...
Kick from 40 metres. Barnaby have done it.
Well, it's one of the very rare occasions that they've actually got the ball over the half-forward line. Carlton seem to nearly get every clearance, so they've nearly cleared every ball out of the centre. But good to see French going forward and actually making Allen work a little bit harder in defence.
Anthony Francina leads for the blood rule, coming on his back wall. 22 goals, 11, 143 the Blues, 8-3, 51 Port Adelaide, 9 goals to 2 in this third term. Just over 2 minutes left in what will be a forgettable quarter for Port Adelaide, a club that's been built on tradition. Mark Williams will be absolutely seething. Stevens did well, and here's Rice, veteran. To Silvani, just his second game for the season. Drills the ball wide. He was looking for Beaumont. Spent a fair bit of time on the bench. Good hands. Back to Allen. So the Blues just keep forcing the ball forward, and Hamill has marched wrongly at centre-half forward.
Well, if he'd held those in the first quarter, they'd be 140 in front by now.
And this has been the problem, Scott Camporelli, because we haven't been able to find who's been playing on him since the start of the game.
Oh, I think they've given that one up.
I think Burgoyne's the guilty party, but, well, he's nearest there now.
Michael Wilson was early, KB.
Well,
he's now got Bradley, hasn't he? And he's been carved up by him too.
Yeah, now Stevens been on him for a while, but I think now they've just decided that...
Actually, he's been playing...
Lay down was there.
Actually, the football's been his opponent at the moment.
Scott Camporelli. He's kicked 2 behinds. He's going for his 100th goal in AFL football. 45 metres out. He's got it. So a century of goals for Scott Camporelli. 10 goals to 2 in this third quarter by the Blues. They are playing brilliant football.
Well, just looking at some of the statistics here, it's incredible. Often you know when a team is in the game. Tackles gives a lot away about how teams are playing, and Carlton have had twice as many tackles. They've had nearly three times as many handballs and nearly twice as many kicks.
Well, the announcement just made that Camporelli has brought up 100 career goals, and he waves his bat to the crowd. French. Good tackle by Beaumont, and he gets the ball out of there too. It spills to McKay. Chance for more for the Blues. Foot of the pack, Treadray, a champion forward who's had to move back into defence. Hamill floats the hand pass in. They work it on. Beaumont came from Houghton. Or Silvani. Up towards the attacking 50. Look at the pace by Backwell. You'd swear blind the scores will level the way he attacked that ball. Ratton. Stevens for Port. Oh, here's Backwell. And his efforts might pay dividends. Paxman works it to the line. Doesn't find it. Favola goes to ground. Oh, it's a throw. He came from Queensland. He might have been brought up on rugby. That was a dead set throw.
Well, it was in about 7 contests in about 15 seconds, squeezed up on the boundary line. I think he might have got a little bit tired in the end, young Backwell. Just a few seconds left in this third quarter. Beaumont to Silvani. Here's Whitnell. Couldn't take it. Favola tickles the ball out. Siren sound. It's a wonderful quarter of football by Carlton. They came out, all guns are blazing. They kicked 10 goals to 2 in that third quarter. Scott Camperelli take a bow on screen. He's been absolutely magnificent. Well backed up by Brett Ratton, who's booted 6 goals today. And Craig Bradley, as the oldest player on the field, has been a dominating influence as well. And there he is, Craig Bradley. He has been magnificent, and a former Port Adelaide boy. They'll be wishing back in South Australia that somehow they could have got him back to the club. Mark Williams will be very, very disappointed. He can be pretty fiery, Mark. He takes defeat hard. I'm certainly have a few things to say to the players. What's been a very disappointing game after being finalists last year. Just the one win so far this season against Hawthorn against Brisbane Lions, and last week thrashed by Hawthorn.
Yeah, and in a competition where there's salary caps and drafts and so on, you shouldn't have one-sided games like this. This is an absolute shellacking. 98-point margin. Well, here we go in the last quarter. There's a few walking wounded out there with head bandages. I've never seen so much blood in all my life. Here's a free kick Carlton's way. No, Port thinks it's theirs, but it's not. It's coming back to Allen. And Craig Bradley and Camperelli just got out here on their own. It's almost like Port are playing a zone, but they're not zoning in the part of the field where the ball is, because they're certainly not manning up. Bradley to McKay, McKay to Backwell, and here's another shot at goal, and if successful, the margin will be over 100. Yeah, I like to look at Backwell. He's he gives them zip, and every team needs an injection of youth. There's precious little youth at Carlton, so they need him. Backwell, beautiful.
Well, Drew, it's all about getting the ball out of the centre, and particularly on a ground like this where it's pretty short, and Carlton just get effective clearances.
Oh, it's a bit more than that, Jim. You've got to make a contest of it. I mean, you've got to relish a contest in AFL football. You've got to relish beating an opponent, and you just can't have guys running around by themselves. If you do that at training, you get the ball a million times. The same thing happens in a league game.
Even at the centre bounce, here's Camperelli, bottom left of screen. His opponent is not within 50 metres.
Well, that's not good enough. Stevens has got it, trying to weave his way out of trouble. Ricochets back inside the centre square. Fletcher pulled off the ball. Going to ground was Lyle. Good enough to get a handball away. Getting the bounce he wanted was Montgomery. Barnaby French pumps the ball back towards centre half forward. Corns. Now he shows bits and pieces, Chad Corns. If they can get the ball down there quickly enough, he might just be a player. Burgoyne caught from behind. Nelson stood his ground well. Tough and strong. Big improver last year. Koutafidis. The Camperelli, well, no one within 100 metres of Camperelli. Ratton, centre wing, has kicked 6 goals. It's been a red letter day. Hickmott, a lot of the ball as well. Over 300 possessions to the Blues, 150 more than Port Adelaide. Fletcher, Silvani just juggles the ball long, got a shove in the back. No free kick. Wilson stands and delivers. Pumps the ball back. Here's Koutafidis. That time, a bit too strong for tread rate. Bradley kicks the ball wide and finds Dean Rice. He's on the half-back flank. Carlton supporters loving it here at Optus Oval. Freeborn is a thumping kick. Kicks the ball quickly through the air. And there's a good example to Lappin, wasting no time. Fletcher into the pocket and finds Hamill. Well, that's magnificent play, but it's like a training drill. and you've got no pressure being applied, you can look fantastic.
I suppose it all started in the back line with Koutafidis. He just strong on tread right, took a great mark, and they just had numbers then to run the ball down.
He's kicked 2 goals too. He's had a lot of the ball, 18 possessions, playing across the full forward line. Aaron Hamill. The roar tells the story. He's got 3.
Well, that was his 6th mark, his 18th possession. His 3rd goal, not bad for a forward.
They now lead by 110 points.
Is it possible that Port beat Carlton here 2 years ago by 89 points? Back we go in the middle. French doesn't take a run. He just waits down, playing role of rover, actually. Waited for it. Blues have it. Freeborn to Bradley. Hickmott goes wide. Camporelli. Stevens is his man, but you'd nearly be a genius. You need to be a genius to pick that up. Camporelli. Hamill juggles. Can't quite take the mark. Ball flipped backwards. And they get out of trouble. Lyle. Rice over his head. French used his body well, but well, that's what happens to you when you're having a dark day. It came off the shins of Koutafidis to his own advantage. He shares it with Hickmott. Kick to centre half forward. Hamill. I think the ball hit him on the head. Ball comes down here to Murray, who confuses me every time because he's wearing Burgoyne's old number. And Burgoyne used to be 26, he's now 7. Blues have it. McKay. Freeborn through the middle. Ratton's kicked 6. Inside 50. Hamill should have kicked 6. He's only kicked 3. Lappin, he'll goal. No. Ball knocked down. And Lyle clears. Silvani working up the ground. Here he is with Corns. Stephen Silvani round the corner. Close to the boundary line. Fletcher wants to keep it in. Hungry for more. But it's out.
Well, you mentioned Ratton there before. He's just picked up his 30th possession, which is not a bad effort from a half-forward flank.
Blues by 110 points. And a shove out. The free kick is going to the Blues. There's Dean Rice just having a rest on the bench. Beaumont back into the action.
First player in AFL history to kick a blindfolded goal.
Tell you what, though, Rice, he's really attacked the footy really hard today. I've been very impressed with him.
Big pack of players. Lappin, dangerous. He's pounced on it. Puts it over on the full.
There's just a few times there through the middle when he just, you know, he's cupped his head and his cuts and whatever, and he's just straight through like a train.
Yeah, there's a Port Power player down in defence. Lyle Mead was put under a lot of pressure. So the handball just trickles back to half-back. Daniels just dribbles the ball to Stevens. Comes away from centre wing and finds Bode. He's kicked 2 goals. Looking for Montgomery. Waited for the ball. Should have attacked it. Got the bad bounce.
Wasn't a great kick, though. He should have made a distance. That was only about a 45, 50-metre kick.
This is where Mead, I think, collided with his teammate Murray. They clashed heads. 25-11 the Blues. 8-3 Port Power. 161 plays 51. 110-point ball game. And Mead will be coming off with the blood rule.
That'll be a broken nose, I reckon.
So just gives the players a little bit of respite.
I wonder what Josh
Maybe a deep
Franco is thinking. He's probably still back in
Thank goodness I missed the
Port
play.
Adelaide, watching back in Adelaide. Jeez.
Mark Williams.
Well, it's not as though...
Also Matthew Rendell in the background. Former Fitzroy captain and star.
It's not as though this is a struggling club. You know, great history in the SANFL. And they made the finals in the AFL in their 3rd season. I mean, St Kilda lost their first, 55 games or something last century.
Well, they do have a good group of players. They've got a great on-ball division. But they're just
not today, because they haven't manned up today. And if you don't man up against Camporelli and Ratton and Bradley, then you're going to get carved up. And you're talking about top-class players, so you've got to give them respect. Carlton goes to ground. Silvani was the tackler.
I reckon they missed, though, really a couple of hard go in there, like the Todd Viney type players. You know, the Rattans that can get in on their packs and dish the ball out to these runners that they've got.
Ball up on the half-forward flank for Port Power. Corns doing the ruck work against Houghton, was slapped on. Camporelli on the burst, comes away, edge of the centre square, puts it out in front. Lance Whitnell has booted 3 goals, goes short and finds Craig Bradley, the hero at Optus Oval. What's his stats, Jim? Because at half-time, or three-quarter time, he had it, what, 26 times? And
20,
he's had it...
Yeah, 25. He's had another 3 possessions this quarter.
So right on 30 possessions for Craig Bradley. They've had 12 individual goal kickers. Bradley has kicked 1. He went wide. He was looking for Favola. Had to try and get the youngster into the game. Manton. Montgomery slides in underneath. Good enough to get rid of the ball. Carlton goes in hard.
Kicking
will take the free kick.
That is still in the rule books, isn't it? He nearly kicked him over the grandstand.
Oh. A little bit wild.
Just as well it was only Lappin, not somebody with big, bulky, strong legs.
Remember Chris New got me one day in the head. Oh.
Here's Barnaby French, still in the centre square.
He's tried hard.
Port haven't scored in this last quarter. Bode inside the 50. Might have been a bit of holding on there. The ball landed on its point and bounced straight to guess who, Bradley. Who gives it to guess who, Camporelli. Koutafidis nearly had a day off. Houghton at halfback. Oh, good running, Camporelli. His appetite for the football is just unquenchable. Whistle's gone, and it's a power free kick back here near the centre of the ground. And quickly taken by Murray. Primus. Well, defeat like this could fire these boys up for future, because it'll have to burn for a long time. Comes off the hands and through for a minor score, and that is their first score in this last quarter in nearly 11 minutes of play. It's 25-11 to 8 goals 4.
And that's the first time that Primus going forwards actually got the ball on the forward line with French in the ruck.
McKay, the All-Australian from half-back, pops it out in front. Franchina runs hard, gets support from Backwell. That's a poor kick.
That's probably one of the first big mistakes they've made in the second half of this game.
Well, he tried to kick it on the back foot, tried to hurry it. Lyle pumps the ball to centre half forward. Silvani. Easy as you like. Bradley just keeps racking up the possessions. That's number 32. Camporelli, it's got to be hitting 40. Backwell.
Yeah, they're playing that loose man beautiful in the back line, just with their ruck rovers and rovers, Carlton.
Allen's going to be the target. With strength, just pushes out his opponent in Primus and takes the mark. And Camporelli will just keep on running and finds Lappin.
Not only has he been getting it all day, Camporelli, what about his disposal? Oh, it's absolutely sensational.
Yeah, no, he's been terrific. He's nearly close to 40 possessions. He's at 38. But it's just his running. He just keeps going. I was watching him a few times, and he just leaves his man. It reminds me a lot of Greg Williams. Greg used to play, just kept running the lines.
Lappin's booted 2 goals, both coming in that third quarter. Trying to bend it back. Through for a minor score.
110 points the margin. So it'll be a really handy percentage booster for the Blues. Kick in by Francis, straight up the ground. For the second time today, he's got it nearly to the centre circle, and this could start something. Primus gets the ball away. Polton up towards full forward, but the kick was too wide for Burgoyne, and we'll have a throw in.
It's not really the way to kick into your forward line. You've got to just put it out there so players can run at the ball rather than going, oh my God, this is going to go and end up in the back of my head.
Should have been an easy mark to Burgoyne.
Jim, should you play the kid Stevens like his first game? Just give him a run?
Absolutely. should play anyone that's on the bench at this stage.
Primus takes clean possession, snaps for goal, but has missed it.
I'm not too sure as well. Has Stephen Daniels been on?
It hasn't done a lot.
No,
but I think Jared Polton today hasn't had a real good day, and I just think, young kid Stevens, give him a bit of confidence and put him on the ball, and Murray, and just let him play. Yeah, you've got nothing else. Yeah. Just tries a few things.
Nelson goes wide, looking for Bradley. Playing in front of Harwood. He's kicked a couple of goals today. Young Harwood does well. Bit of aggression. That's a bit better from Port Adelaide. Gives it across. Corns. Thumps the ball. What a leap from Burgoyne. He's given away the free kick. It was spectacular. But he has infringed. Hands on the shoulders here. Yep. And nearly a double somersault.
He would have been thinking, oh my goodness, what am I doing up here?
Yeah, and what am I doing playing from behind all the time?
Stevens from 45 metres out has missed.
Now, if you're going to go down and play in a full forward position, you've got to be in front. You've got to present.
Hume comes on for a Backwell.
And the cheers for Brett Ratton, who goes to the bench. 6 goals. He hasn't added to his tally in this last quarter, but he has had a fantastic game. I wonder if he'll come back just for the last hurrah to see if he can get up to 7 just before the end.
Man had it and lost it.
Hand pass was knocked down, and Bishop's shot for goal is out of bounds on the full.
It's a call a shocker.
There's Ratton. He'd need a breather, wouldn't he, Brett Ratton? Leather poisoning. He'll need to go to hospital tonight.
He'll have a few teammates with him.
And Bradley back to Silvani. Here goes Sauce. Oh, beautiful. Oh, the umpire's in the way. Down goes Favola, and the umpire hasn't got up yet. And the Carlton fans hooting because they reckon Favola should have taken the mark. Favola plays on. And Andrew Coates is not too good. Well, that's the second umpire shepherd we've seen today. And he's going to have to come off. The umpire of the year, Andrew Coates.
Travelled with the Australian team a couple of years ago, and well received by all the players, but not often you see another umpire coming on the ground as an interchange.
A bit of trivia. His number is 6 because his birthday is the 6th of the 6th, 66.
There's a film. Isn't there a film? It's this number of the beast, 666.
This is a bit unfortunate here because with the ball moving so quickly into the forward line that it was just one of those unfortunate accidents, and he may have hurt his knee. Let's hope not, because he's one of the best umpires going around. Andrew Coates, he's been replaced by Scott McLaren, I think, came on to replace him. Emergency umpire. I think he's already umpired on the weekend, Scott McLaren, so he's having a double bite of the cherry.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, Harwood played for the Sandful on Saturday and for the Power on Sunday.
So the ball kicked wide. Koutafidis, Lyle keeps the ball alive. From centre wing, again, there's no one to kick it to, and Silvani.
That is terrible play.
Just backing back. Oh, there's a great mark. A fantastic mark by Stewie Jew. Can he unload and kick a big bomb? He's a beautiful kick. Playing in front is Burgoyne.
That's better.
Nelson, enough pressure, forced the error. Nelson then with strength, goes to ground. Poulton comes in, knocked off the ball. There'll be a ball up some 30 metres out from goal.
Marby made KB's got a knock to the right knee, sorry.
So they're pretty quick to take him off.
He looked like he was in a bit of trouble. I was a bit concerned, Couchy, because you know, coming across him and the knee being collected like that.
They're just
let's hope
checking.
he's okay.
They're just checking him structurally.
And
but
Bradley,
it seems okay.
Thanks for that, Paul. As Bradley just tummels the ball back over the line for a boundary throw-in.
You know, in games like this,
108-point lead to the Blues.
you want to see the team behind really fight it out and maybe win the last quarter, or else the team that's in front to really put on the champagne in the last quarter and kick 12. And we've been going 17 minutes and we've had 2 goals to nil. So it's just been marked time this last quarter.
Soccer match.
Nelson out of defence. Hamill attacks the ball very hard and goes again for a second go at it. Well done, Aaron Hamill. The ball went out of bounds, but full marks. When you lead by 108 points, to go that hard. Andrew Coates, yeah, he was a great tourist in Ireland. French lost it. Hamill back to Bradley. And Camporelli. Bradley to Camporelli has happened, I reckon, 30 times today. And I reckon I've worked it out, but Port haven't. As soon as Bradley gets it, I'd be all over Camporelli like a rash. Favola, down he goes in a good tackle. The ball spills towards the boundary line. Montgomery has hardly been sighted today, and he gets a free kick.
So I love watching those supporters on the boundary lines that get in and get involved. It's not the only thing they show a bit of passion about here.
And Carlton fans giving it to him. Not because he's Montgomery, he's just wearing the opposition's colours.
I think Carlton fans also have a long memory of being belted here by 89 points. But Dave Treadray booted 8 goals and took 18 marks.
Certainly wasn't Montgomery's fault, he was at the Bulldogs then. Actually, that was a trade with Eagleton, and you'd have thought that trade would work well for both clubs, perhaps, but Monty just hasn't been near it today.
Daniels from the back pocket, playing his 50th game. Hamill stumbled in front, Silvani didn't. Took the mark. Goes short, finds Backwell. He's been pretty impressive today. Youngster from Queensland. He's quick. Bradley. Make that coup to Feedes. Just drills at the Whitnell. Well, he's going for his 4th goal.
Just had so many targets up forward.
12 individual goal kickers today, the Blues. 6 goals to Brett Ratton, 3 to Aaron Hamill, 3 to Lance Whitnell, 2 to Trent Houghton, 2 to Brent Backwell. Leading goal kickers for the Blues. 2 to Mark Harwood. Here's the leading goal kicker for Port Power. As Whitnell rams it home.
Well, this is certainly not the Carlton team that we've been watching in the first 5 rounds of the season. They've just got a lot more zip. They've got lots of players up forward that are leading out and taking marks. Their on-ball division are playing very well. And really, I'm sure this will give them a hell of a lot of confidence. This man, Chris Whitnell, has just been superb, but particularly last week as well.
Centre square infringement, free kick Allen, off to Bradley, kicked by Bradley, deep, Favola at the back, Whitnell. Favola desperately wants to get into the play and into the goal-scoring action. He hasn't seen much field time today and hasn't scored at all. He's kicked 9 goals, 13 for the season. Can't believe it's the same bloke who kicked a dozen on New Year's Eve. Primus wins the boundary throw-in. Feedes applying the pressure. Oh, Hamill, well done to get his hands free. Cooter, a little hand pass. Fletcher in. Lappin outside the 50 to Camporelli. Beaumont! Not quite. Didn't get there. Daniels takes the mark. Playing his 50th game today, Stephen Daniels.
Well, that was Camporelli's 40th possession.
Goes wide and finds Bode. Bode looks on. He's wondering why he wasn't paid the mark. There's a general feeling he may have run over the line. What about Couchy?
He was touched. I don't know how he could give that any other way.
Just touched, do you reckon?
Oh, he couldn't give it any other way. It's a mark.
Well, it's a bit of a mystery to me, that one. McKay, tough in the clinches.
I'm just dumbfounded on that one, KB. You just should have taken.
Let's have a look here. I thought he must have. No, he's well inside the line. We have our vision obscured here with TV cameras down that right-hand pocket.
He played. I think the umpire called play on. So it should have been a free kick.
Well, if it's play on, it's a free kick because he would have been caught. Anyway, McKay caught high. Just a shrug of the shoulders. Hume to Camporelli. It's been an amazing game by Scott Camporelli and also by Craig Bradley. Barnaby French, strong grab. We're told that it's impossible to be an on-ball or midfield player these days with the modern day of football and to keep running. Well, Maybe they should take a video of the oldest man in the game. There he is, still running, paddling the ball along. To Allen, rockets it back. Bradley to Beaumont, he'll receive it again. Crashes his way through, gives it across to Lappin, falls on top of the ball, and he'll get the free because he was crunched in the back.
114 points the difference. It was 98 at three-quarter time. The crowd wanted more, and they might get more yet. Lance Whitnell has it. And he'll be kicking for his 5th.
He's kicked 20 goals for the season, Lance Whitnell.
Well, Drew, by my calculations, Bradley's had 11 possessions in this quarter alone. You'd think as the game would go on, you just, you know, it's all over, it's won. But he just keeps running, and second, third efforts.
Whitnell away to the right, and he's missed it. Well, Bradley amazed me in round 1 against Brisbane. That was the really hot day. It was over 30 degrees, and he just kept on going like that. And everybody else was wilting, and he was the oldest, and he was firing.
And we're told these days that midfield players have got to have a rest all the time or go to the interchange bench.
Yeah, Couchy?
You call him Forrest Gump, are you, Jimmy?
Lyle pumps the ball deep into Port Power's 50. Treadray, few opportunities today. Young Stevens playing his first game, chips it short. Montgomery gives it off. Harwood for his 3rd goal. And he's got it.
I like the look of that boy. And am I silly? But if facially, is he a bit James Hirdish?
Yes, he does. There's a resemblance there. If he can play half as good as James Hird, he'll be pretty good. But from Tasmania, he's kicked 3 goals today.
Allen's just come off the ground. He's had a pretty good day today.
Well, still nearly 3 minutes remaining in the game. And in the foreground here, you can see Camporelli, who eventually was picked up by Bode. But at the bounce, nobody was really sure who had him. Port go forward. Mark dropped by Burgoyne. And Carlton in numbers out of defence. Silvani. Franchina, he'll keep it in. Well, he wanted the bounce to just curl around inside the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in. 169 to 60. Absolutely incredible. Carlton's goal-scoring ability seemed to have dried up in the last 3 weeks, and they've reinvented it today with a dominant midfield. Koutafidis, Freeborn, Hume, Camporelli. He's given it up. That's nearly the first one all day. Intercept by Wilson. Silvani. He gets over the ball. He's holding it. Oh, lucky. Ball's flipped out to Camporelli. And he's holding it. So he's actually made 2 blunders in the last minute.
That's not holding the ball. He had no opportunity to get rid of that.
No, that should be a ball up, that position. The one before with Silvani was very close. You're right, Drew. There was just a split second in that. He did finally knock the ball out.
Maybe the umpire's trying to even up the game, but he's left it a bit late. Stevens. Not a bad kick. That's a fantastic kick from outside 50.
Well, it's got me that Camporelli was in at the ball there. You'll see it here in the replay.
That was Silvani. That was dead set holding the ball.
He's picked it up, and he's got tackled as he got possession of it. Well, he had no prior opportunity to get rid of it, so. But you don't get every single decision your way.
(26-13) the Blues. Port Adelaide 10-6. It's been a training run for the Blues since about halfway through the second quarter. Koutafidis with strength. Hume gaining confidence. Some fancy footwork. Whitnell in front. Good fist away that time by Barnaby French. Stevens feeds the ball out wide. Bishop in front. That's a better kick to Jude. Just caught in two minds, and a great smother off the boot. Tried to play on when there was no room. Stevens, check side kick, does well inside 50. Big pack of players. Bode will run into the open goal and pops it through. He's got 3.
Well, I suppose if you can get anything out of a game like this, you'd like to win the last quarter. And there's 3 goals each, so I suppose that the only consolation Port can take out of this is they can get at least one show that they've hung in there till the end of the game. There was a good rove off the pack there by Bode, but really there's not much else they can take from this game.
Well, they have won the last quarter by a point. It was 98 at three-quarter time. It's now 97.
There's still 48 seconds to go.
Yeah, it's not over.
Here's Camporelli in the foreground. At least at a set play, at a centre bounce, you're entitled to stand next to your man. Now, Stevens is 25 metres away along the line to the right, out of screen. Houghton on the ball. He gets it back from Koutafidis, pulled off his kick, and Port might actually keep this margin to under 100. Out of the middle, Bode. Good punch by Manton. Freeborn. Actually, Port's last couple of minutes haven't been too bad. Corns. Works Silvani off it, and that's not easy to do. Fletcher spilled it. Comes to Polton. Polton across half forward, and that's a good kick, and Dew is right in front. And Stewie Dew can kick this out of the ground.
And they'll win the quarter.
And they'll win the quarter and lose by less than 100. And it will have been, they'll have kicked the last 4 goals of the game.
Yeah.
Last 3 or 4, I reckon.
Yeah.
Here's the siren.
Yeah.
Carlton have absolutely murdered Port Adelaide, but there is a kick after the siren by Stuart Dew, and he's kicked it. Well, it wasn't quite the grandstand finish the Blues would have wanted for themselves. They lost the last quarter. They led by 98 at three-quarter time. And there is the final score. Carlton only kicked 3 goals in the last quarter. Port kicked 4. I'd like to offer some encouragement to Mark Williams, but I wouldn't know what to say.
No, I wouldn't have a clue. It's just a very disappointing trip over here. And now they were talking before, they're only 1 game out of the 8. But now they're a hell of a lot more than that, plus a lot of percentage. And percentage is a game. And they'll be very sorry. But that man Ratton there, 6 possessions, 30 possessions, or 6 goals. Terrific day.
A 91-point win to the Blues, 26-13 to 12 goals 6.